The Kings were down 18 in the first quarter. They ended up taking the lead, and at a high-scoring affair at the intermission, it is 62-62. Ryan, how are you, buddy?
Doing great, Napes. Happy to be here. Yourself?
I'm good. You think the Spurs are going to win? I give you credit. You called it out. You're halfway there. I mean, the Spurs came out a house of fire. The Kings came out sleepwalking. And now all of a sudden we've got a game at 62-62. Kings passing has been beautiful. The Spurs at times, their offense has been discombobulated. But here we are. You're letting an inferior team hang around.
Yeah, you're kind of getting the inferior team's best shot in some ways. Zach Collins having an amazing first half for the Spurs, and it's the effort plays, Grant. The Spurs are just out hustling the Kings at times. You look at the offensive rebounds, you look at rebounding in general, and that's something that if you look at this half, the Kings can adjust, and if they do, they should win this game comfortably.
I told you after the first couple of minutes, unlike the game the other night, Mike Brown would need his bench, and I thought the bench played very well. Jerry Reynolds, boy, what a start for the Kings. They were down 18 before you even knew the game had begun. They got themselves back, but now all of a sudden it's 62-62. What are your general thoughts on the first 24 minutes?
Well, I mean, the Kings, that start was just terrible. And you let a team that's come off a couple of bad losses like the Spurs get started like that, and that gives them a lot of confidence. And they certainly got that. I thought the bench, as you pointed out, I mean, the bench was terrific for the Kings and really got them back in the game and got them in position. But I'll just say this, if the Kings can play 6-7 good minutes of defense, they'll win the ball game. Now, so far they've played 0.
Right.
So it's about that's where it's at. I think the Kings are going to be able to score enough. And by the way, why review plays when the review never gets it right half the time? That was clearly a block on Wembanyama. I mean, he was outside the area and he was moving. The only reason they got it or missed it, I think, is he's so weak physically in his legs he just crumbled. But it doesn't change what the call should be. So anyway, I'm just sick of all of the challenges. Just get rid of all of them.
Well, I understand it because I've been in the business, but the hype around, this game, the only reason why this game's on ESPN is because of Victor Wembanyama. That's number one. Number two, it's all we're hearing about during the whole damn telecast. And it's just enough already in this in-season tournament. So it's enough to make me want to turn the damn TV off. But all right, I got to do my job. The Kings at times defensively are so bad. I mean, you just talked about it. 6 or 7 minutes of defense will win this game. It's just so bad at times. It's just like, can this team not figure out that part of the game? It drives me crazy.
Well, I think they can because, I think they at times or most of the time, I think we see a little better version of defense we saw last year. But tonight or so far, the first half looked like a blast from the ugly past because you're seeing guys getting in the paint consistently, getting by the wings. There's no real pressure defensively out on the ball. And, that's just putting them in a hole all the time.
Ryan, here's something else. First half, your forwards that started the game were absolutely invisible. Keegan Murray did nothing at all. Harrison Barnes only played 5 minutes. So that tells you where he's at in Mike Brown's head. But Murray plays 19 minutes and scores 2 points on 1 of 5 shooting. This guy right now is either feast or famine.
Yeah, he is. And Grant, we talked about it on the watch party. He wasn't getting bad looks at times. He's either knocking him down or he's not. And you got to think that's going to come around as this offense starts to roll a little bit. But we got to group Kevin Huerter in there too. No points in the first half. You get 5 points from your 3 starters. That's really hard. Or actually, it's really good to be 62 at the half with numbers like that.
Well, Jerry said the bench, right, Jerry? I mean, the bench you needed. Jerry, I was saying this when we were doing the chat on Pro Sports Fans. I said with 5 minutes gone by in the first quarter, I thought Mike Brown should have benched the entire starting unit. And I said, this is a game unlike the Lakers game. You didn't need the bench to beat the Lakers the other night because your starters played so well. And I'm watching the first 5 minutes, and I said to Ryan, I go, Ryan, now, unlike the game the other night, you're going to need the bench to win this game tonight. And that's exactly the way it looks through one half of basketball.
Yeah, that's really the good thing that Coach Brown has. I mean, he does have weapons he can call on that don't start. And as Ryan pointed out, I mean, when Herter and Murray in particular are just non-factors, the fact you're still right there is encouraging in of itself. But I still worry about the fouls, the 3 fouls on Sabonis, because you've got to keep him on the floor. Although McGee has done a nice job, but it's just they play different. But I'll be surprised if Fox doesn't kind of take over a little bit here. I mean, I thought the zone they played hurt the Kings for a few possessions. Then they figured it out and get the ball inside the Sabonis and space out.
What do you think, Ryan? Key here in the third and fourth quarters.
I think Jerry just hit the nail on the head. They've got to be able to shoot them out of that zone, because the one thing that has been so successful for the Kings the last 2 games has been the pick and roll. If they can get back into that, because Fox has not had an opportunity to do that too much, the Kings should score at will.
Jerry, we always talk about this, and you mentioned the Spurs coming off a losing streak. They're not going to lose every game they play all year. And when you let an inferior team hang around, and if that's the case in the fourth quarter and they feel it, and they know they can legitimately win a game, those are dangerous spots to be in when you're a better team. We've seen it over the years way too many times. So what happens when you let a bad team hang around?
Yeah, it's one of those things too, and I'll say this to their credit, they jumped out there well, but the Kings came back and took the lead, and I really expected them to fold their shop, but they didn't.
Right.
They showed a little something, but that's what, as you point out, that's what's happened now. They think we can beat these guys, and you don't want to put the weaker team in that position where I've been on both sides of it. And that's exactly what does happen. With the weaker team, you're hanging around and you think, hey, guess what? I think we can win. And that's dangerous, very dangerous.
The other thing I was talking to Ryan, it drives me crazy when you have a player like Victor Wembanyama, and I get the hype and I understand all of that, but you run an offensive set where he's just standing in the corner waiting for a drive and a kick for a guy like that to take a 3. It just drives me crazy. He's 1 of 4 from 3. He's 7 of 14 overall. I mean, he obviously has such an advantage anywhere near the basket with his half hooks or whatever he wants to do. It makes me cringe when I see a guy like that taking 4 3-pointers. But I know we're in that's the way the game's played now, but I don't like it for him right now. I just don't.
Well, I just am amazed they don't play a lot of high-low with with the 2 bigs they have. I mean, they're both be effective high and they'd both be effective low, and really tough matchups. So I'm really surprised Coach Popovich has really kind of allowed Wembanyama to become a wing, a 7'4" wing player. He's a marvelous talent, but I think probably his effectiveness, for the most part, I think most teams would love for him to shoot about 23s a game.
Jerry, here's a great message from Lance. He said, once again, Trey may be playing himself into a starter without playing. Jerry is the best.
Yeah, his stock is going up daily, isn't it?
Way up.
He may start getting votes for All-Star, if he doesn't. Of course, as it is, I think by midseason he'll have played more than Bradley Beal anyway.
Yeah. Oh, boy. You think? Gosh. Give us your predictions, everyone, for final scores of this game. 62-62 at the half. Ryan, give me your prediction for a final score in this one.
San Antonio 117, Sacramento 116.
All right, I'm going to go Sacramento 134, San Antonio 117. Jerry?
I got the Kings winning 118-114.
All right, so close games there. All right. Again, your thoughts on Victor Wembanyama after watching him now up and down the court for 15 minutes in that first half, Rhino?
Exactly as advertised. I mean, he's a big body. Like you said, he gets around the rim. He's effective, and he's still a rookie. I mean, he's going to take some bad shots. He's not going to understand spacing, probably be pushed around a little bit. But overall, being the center of attention for the most part for that Spurs team, not too bad. Not too bad.
Jerry, are you willing to say the same thing about Wembanyama that you said about LeBron James after seeing him play in person for the first time?
Oh no, oh no. I mean, LeBron's one of one. And now, I will say this. I mean, Wembanyama might get to that level. LeBron was the only 18-year-old, 19-year-old was at that level day one. And Wembanyama is not there. But I mean, yeah, he may. I am pretty confident, barring injury, that he'll get to being one of the 3 or 4 best players in the world for about 10 years.
All right,
It may take 3 years to get 4 years to get there.
All right, I'm going to throw some names at you. Guys that came in with no college: Kevin Garnett, his first year, and Victor Wembanyama, his first year.
I like Wembanyama a little better. I mean,
Okay.
he's I think going to be a little more productive. I mean, Garnett was such a, we forget that he averaged about 8 points a game, I think, his rookie year, and then turned around pretty quick. But yeah, I think this guy's a little better. Other than LeBron, I don't know of any rookies much that have been any more impressive. With his slow start. So, always keep in mind, rookies are rookies.
I'll tell you the one guy that was so impressive his first year coming out of high school, but never had the career that these guys that we're talking about, and that was Amari Stoudemire. If you remember him, he had an NBA body, and he dominated his first year in the league.
Yeah, he was actually, as a rookie, I'd say he was better. It really is one of those guys but basically he was who he was.
Yes.
I mean, you saw him, and at 18, you saw him at
He never got
25.
better.
He never really got a lot better, and so that'll be the challenge. Of course, that's always the challenge for any top player. Are you getting better? And if you don't, what kind of career will you have? But yeah, there's, I saw some great young players that didn't get a chance to play in the NBA, early on, like a Spencer Haywood was a little older and was certainly ready. And of course, George McGinnis and Oscar Robertson and Kareem and Wilt, had they got to play at 18, they would have had zero problems.
Zero. Absolutely.
Zero.
Jerry, enjoy your weekend. Thank you very much.
I will enjoy it if we get that win, Rhino. I hope you're wrong, indeed, buddy.
I hope I'm wrong too, Jerry.
By the way, Jerry, Justin wants to know your thoughts on the color of the Spurs court.
I detest it. I hate it. God, let's get back to being actual basketball. Good.
This gimmick,
like a carnival.
It's horrible. This gimmick stuff by the NBA it turns me off. I wouldn't even be watching it if I didn't have to.
I tell you what I think. They ought to have all the players play real long with real long shoes on, and then have a red nose. Make it official. I guess you. Oh well, I know I got to settle down, but I just don't like it. I don't either. I'm not gonna like it.
Jerry, you take care. Have a good weekend.
I will. You guys be good.
Thanks, Jerry.
Oh my God. I know I said I don't care about the courts on the last show, but this court is so ugly, and it's the whole gimmicky. The gimmick of the league is just it's gimmicky. It's just it's a turnoff for me. All right, so we'll be on post game on YouTube, and I know you got the Spurs winning, I got the Kings winning, and regardless of what happens, you and I will be here right after the game.
Yes, we will. Looking forward to it. And one thing really quick. Yeah. It's gimmicky, but it kind of solves a little bit of the load management problem because some teams are going to get a second All-Star break.
Maybe. Yeah. Yeah. Not that big of a difference, but yeah. Okay. I got you. Yeah. Good
Just
point.
A thought.
All right. See you, buddy.
All right, bud.
All right. Good stuff. Second half. We'll see what happens. Join us right back here after the game at the break in San Antonio, 60.